All right, let me talk about benefits of marriage. So, your personal thoughts, pros of being married, and things you do together. So, let's talk about some things that you guys do together.
Well, some of the benefits, security is one. Um, Commitment to one another and just that person only. Um, what else?
I know you said earlier, you said that's your best friend, and that's my best friend. So, one thing is if I decide I want to try something, I have an automatic partner.
That's right.
So there are things like that. Or if I want to go see a movie, if I want, like, I have an automatic partner, whether he wants to or not. Let's go try this, and he comes along.
And on the flip side of that, it's like, okay, I think we talked about this in another video, but like the financial aid, the financial help that a partner brings. You know what I'm saying? Like, travel. Now you got two incomes that can help your guys do the things that you want to do. So how did that increase over the years to you guys? Like, what are some of the things that y'all did in the beginning versus what you do now?
Well, kind of back what you said earlier, I kind of feel like, the benefits for me for being married. There's been a lot of like trying times in my life that I wanted to make a career change. I wanted to, felt like I was I didn't know what I was gonna do, and even to the point where I've never been a quitter, but sometimes there's been a situation where you question is this the right thing for you, and having that person to not just give you an answer that you want to hear, but give you that answer, that encouragement,
that's right.
Being there, because there's, even though you have that success, you gotta, behind every person's success, there's somebody, whether it's a mom or a husband or wife, there's somebody giving you that sound advice that's gonna push you forward. Like they say, a coach is just as important as a player. That coach inspires you. So Michelle has been that person that kind of keep me from making a rash decision sometimes. Because sometimes I have a attitude. I'm gonna be done with it.
I'm done with it.
You know what I'm saying? But then when but I've learned through I'm not just responsible for me anymore.
Right.
I am married. I do have a child. I do have a wife. I got other responsibilities. I have to understand that I can't go 6, 8, 12 months without money. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put the responsibility back on her because I've created a certain lifestyle for her. You know what I'm saying? Even though that she would, but I'm not going to do that. But I feel like that's one benefit because you have a personal cheerleader. You have somebody, especially if that person's for you. If they can go two different ways. Now you can be married and not have somebody that's going to give you that sound advice. They're going to just say, you got that person that's going to tell her friends or his friends what you're not doing.
And you made mention not only a cheerleader to kind of cheer you on or to congratulate you, but also somebody to tell you, wait a minute, let's rethink that.
That's right.
And I know for me, I can be harsh, I can be blunt. And so sometimes I have to stop and say, baby, does this sound right? Or was I wrong for this? And if it was something that I was wrong about, he'll tell me. And so I know that it doesn't come from a place of wanting to hurt or anything like that. He's just going to be honest with me. And I need that. So not only is he going to cheer me on, but he'll also pull me aside and let me know,
I remember
take all that.
I remember years now, but I remember when I first kind of started where I was working at, where I work at now. And I remember family members over there. We out there in the back. We decided to smoke a little weed together. And she was like, she said, come here. I said, oh, yeah. She was like, look, are you a grown man? What you want to do? I said, I hate for you to lose that good job because you got to smoke reefer. And I said, you know what? I mean, if I was pissed off, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And think about that. That would be stupid. Lose a good job like that just because you smoke. So it just, having that person to help you make those decisions,
what's the real
tough decisions now. You're like, man, I want to do what I want to do.
And also to right your wrongs.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the next topic is marriage myths. and it kind of ties in, but things that, and I think we've talked about some of it, but things that you heard or you thought about being married, and then once you were married, you were like, I ain't like that at all, or people said that this was going to happen, but this didn't happen. Were there any things that maybe in the back of your head you thought, and then in the middle of it you're like, that ain't true?
I know before I heard people say, well, you're gonna be tired of being married to the same person for XYZ number of years, and that's not true at all. Like, I love him even more and more each year, so that's my best friend, and I just love him.
He alright.
I mean, what I heard, people would say, as soon as you get married, they're gonna stop.
Everything gonna stop.
Yep.
Everything gonna stop.
Please don't get him started.
Or they put that within when you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna stop when you have a kid. And it's just, it all goes to, I've never like had a preconceived notion that, oh man, like, when we get married, when she gonna stop doing this. No, because I knew the person I was with. I know she wasn't gonna do that. I know she wasn't gonna do that. And if she did, I felt we've communicated. Our communication over years has gotten a lot better.
Yes.
There's been, I remember we talked about it. I mean, we used to first go on trips. It didn't matter when we might have we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to arguing these one time
on the trip. At least
over
one
something
time.
real stupid.
Yeah.
And it was probably 5-6 years ago. We were like, you know what? We don't even
argue no more. We just having a good time.
We don't, because it doesn't matter. It's small stuff that I guess you just evolve in the moment, and you don't realize that, I don't do it no more. We are better at doing that. And we always can communicate better. We always can do that. Because I think a lot of the breakdown with communication is you're afraid of hurting that person's feelings so that you don't say anything. Yeah. But sometimes you need to say it, because if it's irking you, you need to say it too.
Get off your chest.
Yeah. And that's what I've told him. For me, I can cut people off. I can disconnect. And so if there's something that is bothering me and I don't address it, it'll sit and it'll grow. And I don't ever want to get to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm done. Because when I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that goes for anybody. And so it's best for me to go ahead and address it. And it's not, and that's trauma response, really, because I'm just building walls and trying, self-preservation. And so there have been times where I've told him, look, I need to talk to you about this because it's bothering me and I don't want it to keep growing.
That's right.
So that was something. And the 7-year itch and all that stuff. We've had issues and we've talked about those things openly, but communication. And so my thing has always been, come to me, talk to me, because we can work through whatever it is if you come to me and we talk about it. But if you catch me off guard and I feel attacked, that's here nor that's iffy. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. I'm healing, but it's a process.
And that's one thing I've always told Paul. Like, I don't care if it's gonna hurt my feelings. I just want you just to, let me know how you feel. Be honest with me. We can work through anything.
And I think that the thing is, I know the male ego is very fragile, and a lot of times because we may lack, I think the idea comes in, well, I don't want to hurt her feelings, or I don't want her to take offense to it. So there is that level of fear, because you know that this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, but you have an issue and you want to solve the issue, or at least address the issue. And there's that kind of like that fear that I don't want to mess this up because this is the best thing I got. So sometimes it's easier for us to just kind of not say anything, but eventually it has to come out, because that's the only way it's going to be healthy, and then we'll be able to heal. But now what does me good, I know as far as us is, where I work at is a bunch of older gentlemen that I work around. Some women are there, but mostly older gentlemen. And I'm talking to guys that's 5 years older than me. They're on marriage number 3 or 4, and they always make comments and saying stuff about their wives, and I'm like, I just sit there and be quiet, complaining about it. Like, she don't do this and she don't do that, and I just sit there quiet, like, I mean, even if there was something that I felt like she did that I didn't like, why am I telling y'all?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why you bad talking your wife? That's right.
Yeah, talking bad, like, I mean, that's not representing her. Then when they meet her, they're going to look at her like she crazy.
Exactly.
But then I'm like, well, why is you still with her then?
Yeah, that's right.
The next topic, I know this is a tough one. Talk about dealing with loss, grief, and trauma. Go ahead.
When we did this episode, we talked about not only things that we went through during our marriage, but also we learned and have learned throughout the years that some of the trauma that I experienced in childhood is actually, the root to some of the issues or some of the problems that I've had in opening up and allowing him in and things like that. So we know y'all have a shared loss, and that happened while y'all were married. So that was when your grandmama passed away. And then your grandfather, who introduced y'all, he's also passed away. So how do y'all support each other during those times?
Well, one thing I love about Paul throughout the losses, he has given me his undivided attention. He has been there to support me, asking me constantly, baby, need anything? You okay? You want to talk about it? I mean, he has really been my emotional support to help me with that. And also, when we lost our son, Aiden, back in 2014, I mean, he was amazing. He never left my side. He was there with me. I mean, I just wish that a lot of people can feel, get that same support if they lose someone, because when you're going through stuff, especially losing a loved one, I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard. So you need someone that can kind of uplift you, let you know that, even though you're going through this, I got your back.
And you, like I said, you have a sister, but you were 17, and you and your grandmother were close, so I'm sure that it felt like how you felt in that moment, nobody else felt that way.
That's right.
And so that's how, as an only child, when I lost my mom, yes, he's there. Yes, he had been there for over, 20 years, but I'm her only child.
That's right.
So I'm the only person who feels this loss this way.
That's right.
And even though he didn't feel it that way, he was right there with me.
That's right.
And allowed me to grieve and process however I needed to. So. And you mentioned with Aiden, and I know that was difficult. That was difficult for all of us.
Yes.
For me, like, I didn't even know, and that was me and my unhealed stuff, and because I shut down. And so I'm like, how do I still open up and show you that I'm here for you, and then process it and help you through it. So I'm glad that the two of you had each other to work through that.
Yes.
Have you had any loss within your family or any issues that you've had to deal with since y'all have been married?
Yeah, I lost both of my grandparents, but both my grandfathers, not my grandparents, my grandfathers. But and this is kind of crazy to say, like I handle loss differently. I do mourn, but it's just, I know it's a part of life. You get what I'm saying, no matter how close somebody is to you. But Michelle's always been there for me. She's always, hey, you need anything? Like, you call and check on your grandma, you call and check on your granddad, your cousins, them and stuff like that. But when we lost Aiden, because we experienced it together, because that was our first child, it hit a little different because it's when you hear about people miscarriaging, but when it hits home. And when you have a deep connection because you want a child so bad together, because basically you feel, even when you get married, when you create life together, it feels like that's the ultimate accomplishment of being married. You know, for me, that's what it felt like. You know, so to experience that loss and just, you know, it was tough, but having a strong emotional support system, you know, from her and you guys and my mom, like, you know, it was there. Like, it was, like, it was warranted in every single way. And I hate that so many people don't have that because it can cut down on a lot of other stuff that people deal with. But it was, you know, it helped a lot, you know, and we talked about, you know, how men handle stuff differently, you know, and sometimes I did, you know, shun those emotions because I didn't want her to see, you know, either me cry or see, you know, or I'm asking them questions like why, you know, but, you know, to have a deep rooted, you know, spiritual sense I feel like I have in certain situations that, you know, I was able, you know, to get the answers I need, understand, you know, why things happen the way they do, stuff that you can't just control, you know. But just having that partner there with you helps you 100% more.
Yes.
And you brought up Aiden, and I know for me, it's so y'all lost Aiden and then Cadence came. I mean, it was quick,
very quick.
I was afraid because so that was I was happy, but I was guarded with it, and I was like, you know, I hope that they've processed everything first because not knowing that situation, I knew when the baby comes, and so if you haven't processed through these things and then baby comes, it's not gonna get processed through.
That's right.
Because of that. But
and that's one of the reasons, you know, we only had one child because after it happened, you know, we talked, and I just because even with having Cadence, like everything was heightened. She had a pain. What's wrong? You know, so you know that then the stress of my job, you know, and then dealing with, you know, a high, you know, what they call it?
High risk pregnancy.
High risk pregnancy. You know, it was kind of like, you know,
and Michelle is a worry ward.
And I'm sure that
Michelle worries for everybody.
Anxiety.
Let me tell you what I worry.
And you know,
come on.
I'm quite sure that was that created a lot of trauma in itself. You know, going through that and that level of fear. Oh shoot, you got gas. You sure? You all right? You know what I'm saying? It's just gas. You know what I'm saying? Like,
every little pain.
With Cadence, she came early.
And the same people that was there when we lost Aiden are pretty much the same crew. Was there with Cadence.
I just when and that was y'all. That was Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
I had just mixed my dress. When you called, I was like, shoot. But that experience, that was so hard. And then Cadence came so quickly, and I'm like, oh my God, it was a lot to deal with.
It was
from the outside. So I can only imagine with y'all. And those are the types of situations that as a couple, if you don't operate as a unit, then those things break relationships.
Yes, definitely.
There are people who were together in similar situations, and with that loss, they split up. So there are people, you know, we basically, ours are grown, so there are people who have been married all those years, and then the kids are gone, and they realize they don't really like each other. So that in and of itself is, you know, those times really give you the opportunity to see who you are as an individual and then who y'all are as a couple.
And that's one thing I can say about us, like, you know, throughout our marriage, you know, we've been through things or whatever, and I can say that majority of those situations have brought us closer together. And, you know, a lot of people, they can't say that.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. You lean on each other.
That's right.
So we have talked about communication throughout, and you said the importance of communication, and for me, that's the thing. You have to be open, you have to be honest. So how do y'all deal with disagreements when they come up? How do y'all?
Well, I was more of the type, whenever we have a disagreement, I just go silent. I won't say anything to him. I hold a grudge. I'll walk around here. He say something like, "Who you talking to?" You know, so I was more, and over the years, I've gotten a little better about that. I tried to hold grudges. Sometimes it kills me, but I just, even if I know I hadn't done anything wrong at that time, I would still be the bigger person and say, okay, start talking to him, versus versus when I wouldn't say anything before. So I've had a lot of growth.
So you was a little missile too, huh?
Yeah. I can hold a grudge.
So, is there one of you who is more open? Like for me, for us, the podcast has been a way for us to get to know each other. But really, for me to hear some of his viewpoints and some things that I didn't know, because I'm the one that. And sometimes it'll be just something random. Baby, have you ever been driving down the road and you want to jump out the door? Like, just anything like that. I've always been more open, and I want to talk about things. I want to process things. So there are things that we went through that were very, that were painful things and painful situations that we've processed through and healed. But I may come back to him now and ask him a question. And I'm not bringing back old stuff, but I want to understand. I want an understanding of it. And so now it has taken time for him to realize. So if I ask something, he ain't, there she go.
It's not.
He knows that it's because I want understanding. I want understanding about the situation. So are y'all like that? Is there one who does that more, or?
Michelle is more of what you just stated. You want that understanding. And I guess from a guy's point of view, I'm not gonna say guys. When it comes to me, if there's ever a disagreement, I don't look at like, oh man, this is gonna end marriage. Just not just a disagreement. I mean, just whether it's a big argument, whatever. I never think in my head that this is the end of our marriage. Because the argument is just that, or disagreement is just that. Yeah. You talk about it, get what's out, what's wrong, and you come together. You just dead, And then there's something that's more deep. It's one of them things that you take responsibility for your actions. You have to you have to just be that person and say, okay, well, I did wrong. Let's talk about it. Let's come to common ground to where you feel comfortable. Whether you might feel comfortable just in that moment, and like you say, you might come back a month or 2 months down the road and be like, well, what about X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, from that's actually did happen, and I have to realize now that that's not just because she wants to start something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's
not a battle story.
That's the only hard part about sometimes I have to just be more understanding that she don't want to come and jab. Because she can come jab if she want to jab.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I have to realize that that's not where they're coming. Sometimes it is hard because you want to automatically put a defense mechanism. I gotta deal with this again. I gotta go with her walking around upset. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only part about when you argue that I don't like. Because it's that silent treatment between. Because I know your mind is going 1,000 different ways.
Right.
Well, my mind is just like I'm just ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
Now see, and the mind is going 1,000 different ways because our past experiences are very similar and have created situations to where we process things with the intent of self-preservation. So for Michelle, it's like she's replaying things, trying to make sure that everything is in place so it don't happen again. That's what with him, and this is going to sound crazy when I started, but follow me. So the screen porch, during COVID, we're sitting up there, and he said, and I said, baby, I want to fix up the screen porch. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to paint it and hang some stuff. I want to fix up the screen porch. He said, okay. And like 10 minutes later, he was like, come on, let's go up to Lowe's. Why? You just said you wanted to paint, you wanted to fix up the thing. For me, that was instant anxiety. Well, I got to write down the color of the paint. I got to make sure I have this. I got to measure this. because I'm trying to make sure that anything that can go wrong, I got it in place. I got a fix in place. The problem is you will never be able to anticipate everything that's going wrong. So that it's self-preservation. It's trying to make sure I don't want to ever be in this situation again. So I need every detail to make sure that it doesn't repeat. And that's something that, you know, we've dealt with, and I'm the one who does the silent treatment, or if I don't say nothing, he's gonna know I'm mad, and he's gonna come to me and he's gonna beg me to tell him what's on my mind, and that does not happen.
You know, it's the communication thing is about like that meme. You know, you see the meme where the guy's laid on the side and he's over there, and she's like, I wonder if he up there thinking about some women. He's like, I wonder if Optimus Prime is trans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's how we think of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Y'all are like, okay, this happened. She told me she's upset. I told her I'm sorry. Let's move on. And y'all are like, done. And meanwhile, I'm sitting back thinking, I can't believe he did that. Like, even though we talked about it, even though you said, I can't believe him, and y'all are done. Or there have been times where I'm like, okay, I've done something and I feel like I've bothered him, upset him, made him angry or whatever. And he's like, no, I'm fine. And he keeps going. And so then I'm looking. He just tilted his head to the left. He's mad. He just ain't telling me. I know he's mad.
Hey.
And look.
You be sitting up there like, looking at football, like, go, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, well, and our minds are really like, you know, I get that this is we're going through this right now. But right now, I'm trying to watch the Falcons win.
But not only that,
but then the stuff is not, and y'all don't see it as convoluted as we do.
That's right.
Like, y'all aren't trying to pick things apart and make meaning out of it.
And I think that's just a biological thing.
I think some of it is.
Because there are things that will happen, and I can just be done with it soon as we're done talking about it. Because I don't want to give anything more energy that doesn't need to be had.
I think that's true. I think there are definitely, you know, men and women process and deal with things differently.
But you know, too, it's like
the
thing is too, like, by us being providers and conquerors and protectors, you know, yes, we have an issue going on, but I got to go over here and protect, and I got to go over here to, you know, provide. So I can't think about that 24/7. I got to focus on this providing and this protecting. So it's like, it's hard to, like, get the grasp on, okay, there is an issue. We do have an issue, because, you know, it's like, that's what you want to do. You want to protect. All right, I messed up. Now I need to protect. What am I going to do to protect? And our mind is, okay, what am I going to do to get out of this situation? Not that we don't want to hear this, just what am I going to do to get out of this situation and get things back to where they were before I messed up.
And I'll tell y'all what was a funny story. And I don't know, it was some years ago, and we had got to argue about something. I don't know what it was. And it was like something real small, but it turned into something big. So, you know, I go to work, you know, the next day. You know, and one thing about me, I don't like talking. I don't like nothing to come and work with me. Because I already deal with our different personalities, and I don't want to give this person the business because of something that happened at home. It's not, you know, it's not their fault. You know, so I get off work and everything. I come home, I'm like, damn, she done cooked the whole spread during the week. I said, what she got going on? Like, we ain't settled this argument. You know what I'm saying? But how could she just come? How could she provide such a great meal? And I'm thinking, like, you doing? Like, I'm gonna eat it.
I was about to say,
because a lot of things.
Go and eat.
There's a lot of things that Michelle don't do sometimes that in that moment I didn't even think about it. sometimes she'll cook and she won't eat right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess just the fact of smelling that food, you just don't want to eat it right then.
So on that day, you know that she didn't you not gonna eat.
So I'm like, she'll put my plate.
Hey, just fix your plate. Just there watching.
She gonna finish. No, she was like back in the room, like she gonna hit me fall or something. And you know me, I'm hungry. I'm like, damn, I ain't it all day. I'm about to die today.
You should took the plate. Baby, this is good. Hey.
I was about to die that day, but I was like, it was something extra. Like all my senses was just tingling, and I was like, I said, man, why I said that? And I was like, I know she ain't gonna do it. I know she did it to the food, but I'm thinking like, we ain't studied this argument. I know how my wife is. I know she's still upset, but she done cooked all this food. And now she ain't even in here. I'm gonna eat by myself. Like, I'm still eating.
Hey, I can imagine how the pots was slinging and shit. Before you came home, you got them pots throwing right there. Turn this damn up and nose. Who this joker think he is?
And she was probably thinking, I'm gonna cook. You gonna appreciate
You gonna eat this? I tell you what, mess around and don't eat nothing to see what happens.
She ain't had to measure nothing. Boiled around the whole thing. I was like, man, it smells good in here. I said, I survived. You
survived.
She made that meal with love, like it's
a little bit of upset, but everything all right.
All right, last topic.
All right, last topic is we're gonna talk about getting older. Some of the things that we experience is, of course, you're getting older, you got health issues, and there are certain things that don't work like they used to.
We're going there again, really.
Well, I mean,
that's what we discussed.
That's just an example. So, change as individual and as a couple, like how do you?
As far as getting older.
As far as getting older.
You want to go?
You go start. Go ahead. Well, because I'm older?
Oh.
I knew you were older when I got with you. I knew eventually you were hit 40 before I hit 40. But, I don't even look at Michelle like she's older. I look at her like she did when I first met her. And that just got honest truth. I mean, because I can see how I see older people and they, still kiss their wives a certain way. They still be out on dates with them because they don't look at their wife as their person that they're old and got issues. They just still see that young love that they have. And I've had, I've been sick one time. I don't know what happened, and I was like, damn, like, you question like what's going on with me, and then you only see that when people get older, it's somebody by their side when they get sick and stuff like that. But anytime something's happened with me when it came to that, from playing flag football, tearing my meniscus, she took me to the hospital, wrapped my leg up to, the most recent where it had to be, I don't know what caused it, but, just making sure that, I'm there where I need to be. Because a man, we feel any kind of pain we have, it'll go away. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it'll be all right. But if I hadn't listened to her and went to the doctor when I did, who knows what would happen?
Yeah.
Now, I know you've always been, like, you go to the gym, you've always been, you said, mindful of food and things. Have you noticed as you're getting older, the changes in your body yet? Because if not, I'm telling you, at 40, that's when it happens.
No.
It's amazing the change at 40.
Your back, your knee.
Everything, and for no reason. For no good reason.
But one thing I will tell you, like I noticed that, so like I would say probably, I would say when I really started paying attention, I would say probably this year, when I, got my normal physical and everything, when then some stuff came back that I really didn't like, so then he referred me to a specialist, then we talked about stuff, he said, you just need to lose some weight. And, I'm thinking like, damn, all last year, that's what I thought I was doing, but I didn't lose any weight. So then, I tried something that's different. It was more strenuous, but I feel the benefits to it. I have better mobility that I didn't have before. And you're thinking like, I'm, not 40 or anything like that. even though I feel like 40 is definitely not old, most people are in their peak physical shape at 40.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Some
that's
people,
the thing. You said something about losing, especially for women.
Mhm.
But the older you get, the harder it is.
Oh, yeah.
So those
That's up.
things,
That's
and
up.
even like with him, where he is out at the job, during the summertime it would get hot, which he has a different job now. He was more mobile and he was in and out. But I would get so jealous because during the summertime, it's like with no effort, he would lose weight because of the movement and because of sweating at work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And over time, and like I said, he has a different position now, but over time it's gotten harder for him to
I ain't moving around.
lose the weight
Yeah,
and
that's
to
true,
like you just have to put so much more effort into whatever it is you're working towards.
Yeah.
And it's like you may not like for me it's a mind body disconnect because in my mind I'm still young and I can still do whatever. But then, when I get up to do it, my body is like, whoa, that's not us anymore.
And I tell you something now, nephew. I'm in my right now, and I see the damn eyes you got. Cause let me tell you something, bro. I don't remember what exact year it was, but I remember like other than my safety class, I ain't need nothing, nothing. Only time I needed these was just to, read something, write something. Man, I take these doggone things off. She be like, "Look at this on Facebook." I be like, "Hold on."
And then
Then you gotta make that adjustment. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy, man. It's like it's almost like it just happened overnight, man.
it does, but it's just like a car.
God.
You try your best to take care of it,
And
but then eventually, there are some things you need to replace or you need to get better at.
Yeah.
Because like when I first met Michelle, she was in the gym just as much as I was. I used to be like, why you lift all that heavy weight? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like she still is that same person. She just had a child. She looks at herself, worse than I definitely look at.
This one
You know
here,
what I'm saying?
this one here.
And I feel like it's that body dysmorphia thing because I have it too. Because there's certain times I be like, man, she's like, no, you been doing X, Y, Z, because I don't want to. You think about stuff like I want to be able to be here for my child.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? And for my family because being the person who's taking care of the family, when you're gone,
Yep.
like that takes a lot of that takes a lot out of it mentally, more so than the financial aspect. You got life insurance and stuff like that. Hey, you might get more money from that than when I'm gone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't replace the fact of your being here.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
And the impact it will have on your family.
And in terms of aging, because not just aging, just body changing your body and everything. I know, and it's funny because he'll tell me, that doesn't bother me. You're beautiful, all this other stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, and it doesn't sink in.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at him, he's getting. We were looking at pictures, and I didn't realize how small he was when we got married. So he's gained weight, but when I see him, I still love everything about him.
That's right.
And so my feelings they're not any less because he's put on weight.
Right.
So for me to beat myself up doesn't make any sense, or for me not to receive what he's saying doesn't make any sense because it's the same situation.
Cause we joke, like I told her, I was like, we were made to like nice things. So I was like, you see a dude good, whatever, ain't nothing wrong with looking, that's just, you like nice things. I was like, that doesn't mean you want to go after her. You're just looking at something nice. You're just going about your business. But I'm confident in myself and the woman that I have that, she gonna love me. If I turn to a tub of lard, she probably said, you need to go do some little exercise. But she should tell me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, no, but that's more, in my opinion, as a health effect.
Right.
Because, even the little weight that I lost, I feel like, there's so much like my test result came back and I was like, just from losing this little bit of weight, that's what happened.
And you know what? Definitely, I know definitely with me, doctor was like, you need to change your eating habits. You head to pre-diabetes, and I was like, okay, the next thing you know, with the next test result, you diabetic. And it hit me like what that was. I didn't even realize what it was. But of course, now with that diagnosis, it has caused me to be more conscious. We actually want to take classes. But you know, I slip just like every now and then. You know, we slip. I mean, but that's the hard part about it, because it's like, you know, you're fighting against, okay, this is what I love versus what I know I need to do. And then with age, it makes it a little more difficult to. I know for me, and I try not to use this as an excuse, and it becomes an excuse. But my work schedule makes it difficult to me to set up a pattern. You know, I marry people who, well, I go to gym 4 o'clock every morning. Yeah, I love to go to gym 4 o'clock every morning if I had that type of schedule. But some mornings I'm working 4 o'clock in the morning. So how do I make that adjustment? And that's what the difficulty for me has been. So go ahead.
And you said it, and I'm glad you did, the importance of the health part of it. Because what he does is he feels like, for me, if I'm all in, I'm all in. And if that means that starting today, I'm not going to eat this and whatever, I'll make those sacrifices. But it's hard to do that when you have somebody who's not. And so he's like, you know, any step that we make towards doing something better is a step towards something better. Yeah, but you have to keep making them. But he feels like I get so critical of things. And so he's trying to make sure that I'm just not being critical, whereas I'm thinking, I'm trying to make sure that we're here.
That's right.
because there, you know, changes need to be made. So that's still something that we go back and forth with, because I want him to be more cognizant of the importance of what we eat. And he says, you know, he talks about the gym and making sure, and I get that, but we also have to focus on the food aspect of it, and that's going to be sacrifice. And so the important thing for me at this point is not necessarily appearance, but the health aspect of it.
Yeah. The health, definitely. And that's been, it becomes more of a concern the older I get, because it's like, well, I mean, my dad, at the age that I'm getting ready, the age I'm at now, my dad was gone. You know what I'm saying? And that's been my biggest fear coming up to this age. Like, you know, am I going to make it past 47? You know what I'm saying?
You have the power to change that.
And, you know, and I know I have the power to change that. So, and I know I'm not doing what he was doing. My dad, you know, he was in sales all the time. My dad didn't exercise, he didn't do any of that stuff. So I know that, you know, I'm definitely doing something different. And, you know, I think for me, like I said, you know, the hard part has just been, you know, the hard part for me has been the not being able to commit. And I get thrown off with, like, you know, last month, 20 days straight. I can't fit the gym into that. You know what I'm saying? So how do you, once you get thrown off, how do you bounce back?
So you keep going back to the gym.
But that's the thing, though. Yeah. And just, what I learned to realize has been 100%. You know, and last year, what made me realize it, because last May, I started back going to the gym. Right? So I think I might have lost 5 pounds within the first month. That because, you know, you're gonna lose weight when you first start something your body not doing. But I'm thinking, you know, I felt a little difference in my clothes. But then I had a physical that end of the year, and I was like, I haven't lost any weight. You know, I was gaining muscle, which that's not what I want to do. I want to shed the pounds. You know, and it was just, you know, I still had the same test results, you know, because I really didn't change enough. So then when I beginning part of the year, I had to realize I can't do what Paul did in his 20s to lose weight.
That's right.
Because in my 20s, when I lift weights, you know, I did a cardio, I lost weight. I don't have the strength or the drive to do cardio. I hate cardio now. Like, I hate it. So with, like, starting this little HIIT workout thing we did together, you get what I'm saying? And I was just like, it was tough, and it's still tough now. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I had to do something different. And I did change my diet. I went back, downloaded my Fitness Pal, I track my calories and all that kind of stuff. And it is hard to do that part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, it is. Like you have to have a certain level of discipline to do it.
Oh yeah.
And because it still kept my same login information. I hadn't did that since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, I was this size in 2015, 8 years ago, and I was like, I gained that much weight. I'm like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I'm gonna just continue to gain
Right.
if I don't do anything.
Yep.
And a lot of
That's
times, like Michelle, we have. I know sometimes she be like, "Oh, you think you know everything," about like with certain food. But I'm only talking to you about stuff that I know that would work. You get what I'm saying?
Like if I can stop drinking Pepsis,
Yeah.
that sugar.
But the reason why I don't say so much, because sometimes, and I'm pretty sure you might feel that too, you feel attacked. You feel like somebody's criticizing everything you do. So I'm just like, I'm not going to say anything.
And that was the feeling because I was
find
like,
your way.
well, I'm doing something different. I mean, I'm not like, I stopped drinking all the sodas. I was drinking the Monsters crazy. Like I get one a day. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing better. I'm not like, at one point in time, I might drink 4 or 5 a day.
Good gracious.
You know that.
But I had a
See,
scare. I had a
that's-
scare at a young age to stop me from drinking soda. So when I was in high school, my pituitary glands had swollen, and we didn't know what was going on. Went to her ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor. Had different blood work done, and it came to I had a final appointment, and the lady said, they gave me different antibiotics to take and all that kind of stuff. She said, I think this is gonna be part of puberty. You have a strong jawline. I said, this isn't my jawline. This is my jawline. I was like, how am I gonna have like it literally was swollen out to here. Like it morphed my face and like it really bugged me with my appearance.
Right.
And my mom, she was just like, baby, I don't want to tell you, just start drinking soda. Try it. And I was working at the grocery store, and that when the Code Red first came out, Mountain Dew Code Red, I was drinking probably 3 in the afternoon, like 5-hour shift every day, 5 days a week, every day. I started drinking them, and when a week later, it cleared up. So I quit cold turkey. I would have a soda from time to time, but I wasn't drinking I wasn't definitely drinking one every day.
That's me. That's I don't.
And I hate to. Nobody wants to have a scare like it to scare them right, but sometimes that scare can really be.
And sometimes that is what it takes. Like here recently, last time I went to the doctor, doctor said your blood pressure is high. It's never been high. What's the kind of change you had going on? I don't know. And he said, I usually take about 2 tests, and after 6 results, I have to put you on blood pressure medicine. First time ever. My blood pressure's never been high. You know what I'm saying? So I know that, definitely changes have to be made. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be on that stuff.
And I had high blood pressure medicine, but I think I was on blood pressure medicine because somebody made me get on. I was in pain. The nurse said, "Why your blood pressure?" I was like, "I'm in pain. I almost broke my finger." So then her and the nurse cooperated.
Okay.
You want to live together, but so I.
So you mean to tell me the nurse and your wife?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
It was like what 140 something.
Not the fried chicken.
No, because I wasn't. That's what I'm telling you. It was. Y'all crazy, but my diet wasn't what it needed to be, but it wasn't bad to where I felt like I had to be on it. So I got on it, for a while, and I got off of it. But I wasn't still eating what I need. I wasn't eating right. You know what I'm saying? Even like now, like I don't eat.
How you letting the world
I'm not 100%.
What? With your actions.
I'm not 100%. I don't have the best diet, but I found a balance. So like I eat enough 80% of the time. So that one cheat day, I don't go like all crazy out, but I'm not watching everything I eat because once you hit a certain point, that's the point. That's the point to get where you want to go. Yeah. Keep doing the same, actual physical movement you're doing, and just be able to still enjoy it. So you don't have to eat junk food every day. Yeah. I mean, that one day a week, or maybe that day and a half, where you're like, man, I do want to just get a burger this afternoon, and whatever. But you might have to work double time that next day to burn it off. But you have to reward yourself that way. Yeah. But you have to also understand you got to work towards that to keep it to it.
See, and for me, what I found is removing that stuff. Your body goes through that detox, but then once the sugar, once the process, once it's out, you don't want it. You don't crave it.
Yeah.
For me, the times that I've done that, I get so frustrated with myself when I then backslide. And because once you start, it's so easy to pick it back up.
It's like with Pepsi. If I try to go cold turkey, I will have a headache for 7 days straight.
Yep.
But once I get over it, I'm fine.
Yep.
And then I'll taste one. Like, this soda don't taste right. Now taste another one. Tasting better.
Yep.
Get another one. And it's over, you know? So
that's why I told you, like, you don't have to cut everything out completely because your body's not going to understand. I was getting this for every day for the past 3, 4, 5 months or a year or whatever. Now you take away from it, I don't know how to act. So that's why you have to gradually take something away. You get what I'm saying? And then you be like, okay, well, you know, instead of me having a 20-ounce soda, I'm going to have a 12-ounce can.
Right.
You get what I'm
And
saying?
that's what I was saying. So Reagan, in her Diet Coke habit, she hasn't been drinking it though. And so the other day she was like, I want Diet Coke. So then we're going to go get a case. So don't get a case. I said, just get a 20-ounce or if anything, get the little 8-ounce can.
that's what I'm buying.
I said, because if you get a case, before you know it, and there is nothing worse than that caffeine withdrawal headache.
Oh God, that thing is terrible.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
Because the only thing you do is have caffeine.
Sugar is worse.
Sugar is horrible.
It's worse than any type of fried food.
And then
It is.
It is. And it's in everything.
And on top of me drinking the sodas, then I started drinking coffee in the morning. And like Paul said, my coffee is more like hot chocolate when I make it. So, you know, that sugar together.
Coffee with your cream.
Cream and sugar now.
But I can fault you two for that because I never used to drink coffee.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Take responsibility for your age.
All right. Well, you know, we've really been enjoying this with y'all. We're in the Big Easy. And we just on vacation.
Yep.
And we have been talking to y'all good enough.
Yes.
We've enjoyed y'all.
Yep.